Pick a card. Why do they fall in love with you? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at your reading. Please pause if you need more time. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do another Pick a Card reading with you. Now today we're going to be visiting about why do people fall in love with you. It's meant to be a little bit of a pick-me-up, and we'll be visiting physical, mental, as well as spiritual attributes and anything else that comes up as well. So this is going to be the intention and selection portion of the reading. You can always skip ahead to the actual reading. I'm going to light a little bit of sagey sage. I want to take a moment to welcome all of those that are new to my channel. I'd like to especially thank the new subscribers. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to reach 1,000 and it's been pretty challenging. So your help and participation definitely is required, because without it, well, I won't achieve it. That's neither here nor there. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and ring our bell a little bit for some good juju. So if you have earbuds, take them out or something. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in 3, 2, 1. All right. And yes, that was my mascara wand. I have no idea where the mallet went for that thing. So, without further ado, we're going to be using these cards to indicate your piles. For pile number 1, why do people fall in love with pile number 1, please? Self-awareness. Tapping into your higher self, questioning routines and patterns. Okay. Pile number 2, why do people fall in love with you? Embrace. Find peace with your current state of being. And pile number 3. Pile number 3, you're not messing around. This one straight jumped right on out. So yours is going to be false illusions with deception, scarcity mentality, falling into bad habits. Take a peek at your piles, and I will see you at your reading. Hi, Pile 1. My name is Griselle, Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. I'm going to go ahead and ring this bell in 3, 2, 1. Get some good juju in here. Actually, I didn't even realize it's Better Than X mascara. We're reading about why do people fall in love with you specifically. Okay, Pile 1. So it could have to be that they're saying better than SEX, but we're going to find out. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. And if you are indeed a repeat offender, thank you so much for stopping by. Quick announcement. You still have time to enter the May 2024 giveaway. Just enter the community tab and type in I'm here for it. You have a chance to win a 30-minute reading with yours truly. Deadline for entry is going to be May the 30th. Announcement will be posted in the community tab on the 31st. Why do people fall in love with you? Pile 1. Self-limiting beliefs. Negative thoughts are creating a roadblock in your life. And one more. Boundaries. Know when to put up and let down your walls. Okay, don't freak out on me just yet. So Pile 1, I do feel like you are somebody who is a seeker. I want to say quintessential seeker. You could be a lifetime learner. You could have a lot of spiritual gifts, but also people in your community and the community overall could know you as being spiritual, period. Now, I'm going to say, even though this is self-limiting beliefs, I feel like you are incredibly in tune. Well, what gave me that idea is the self-awareness card right here, right? But I'm going to say that people have been able to see you wake up to the realities of different parts of your characteristics and different things that you have really long battled with or struggled with, and make some radical changes. What was that? That was odd. Oh, the light. Get out of here with that. Hold on. One moment, please. I hate when those go out. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like where most people would be in the dark about it or super stubborn, I feel like you've really allowed Spirit to teach you many, many lessons. And you are definitely, even if you were one of the fixed signs, quote unquote, right? I feel like you've allowed Spirit and allowed yourself to be able to learn lessons. Now, doesn't mean that you are not prone to patterns just like everybody else, but I feel like people have been able to see big, big changes in you. And therefore that serves to inspire, especially with the self-limiting beliefs. I feel like you've tackled those head on. And it could be, you can't eat an elephant all at once. So I'm going to say people have been able to see you taking maybe mini steps. And it could be physical steps, overcome your self-limiting beliefs, such as like, oh, I won't qualify to do that job. And then you go ahead and you revamp your res and you put it up there and you get the job, lo and behold. So I feel like you are somebody who, also something with your voice. I feel like you, pile number one, people fall in love with you for your voice. And specifically not simply how you sound, although I think that you can sound very beautiful or very musical. At times, I feel like you can sound very firm. And some people can really like that. Specific. I keep getting kicked off here. Specifically, I feel like you could have an incredibly, if not high sex drive, then incredibly big sex appeal to people. And I feel like even perhaps both sexes, right? So where the line in the sand would be drawn for some, I feel like it doesn't pertain to you. What else do we have? So physical, mental, or spiritual. Yeah, I feel like also that you have been able to lay down boundaries. Like, okay, for example, if somebody approaches you and then you're married, or they're married, you're like, absolutely not, next, that kind of a thing. You lay down boundaries, or somebody can't give you any time or the time of the day and things like that. So I feel like those have made you really radically attractive to people. And I feel like also people get really shocked at how attracted they are to you. And don't be insulted by this. What I mean by that is that you could not be the stereotypical type that people, you're outside of the typical type of people, if that makes sense. So people who usually go for, somebody who's like really chatty or super giggly or whatever their type is nowadays, I would know. But I'm just saying that you fall outside of that realm because you've dealt with a lot of different things. And mostly it's self-expression. I feel like you are incredibly authentic. My voice is like been having a problem since I entered pile number one's chat right here for you. And then I got booted off. So it could be also that you've been seen publicly dealing with things that you struggle with and you've overcome them. And I'm not saying that we don't fall down, we don't eat dirt occasionally, right? We're human. But I do feel like you are somebody who's picked yourself up off, every bad situation again and again, and you go at it again. I feel like people who currently meet you encounter somebody who's incredibly poised, very firm, self-aware, and is constantly driven to overcome their own self-beliefs, physical, mental, and spiritual as well. But people from your past, I feel like they are shook because they knew you when you were perhaps unawakened or unaware. I didn't even know why I pulled these. Yeah, but so people are drawn to you also because the spades to me are the swords. And I feel like you've had many endings. People have witnessed you to overcome and achieving many endings. I mean, sometimes you have to close out things before you can begin new ones. And I feel like people have seen that you have been able to close out a lot of chapters in your life, or a lot of ways of doing things, or a lot of patterns. And I feel like the biggest thing for you, pile number one, believe it or not, especially with the star being detailed right here. I feel like you are an inspiration to other people, that people go, wow, I can overcome my limiting beliefs. Wow. You know, if this person can cut things off that no longer serve them in spite of how they feel, I can do that too, because it really behooves everyone in this situation. Or, and with the Three of Wands right here, I feel like also you've been very patient, and you've been very patient and steadfast working on things. And I feel like, again, you are a beacon of light. I feel like you teach people how to establish and set proper boundaries. Not that you haven't, you know, this doesn't mean that anybody's perfect. And I feel like your imperfections are part of the charm. It makes people go, wow, I mean, this person, I've seen them struggle. I know their heartache and their headaches and how much character it took for them to overcome that thing, or become that disciplined, or become that determined that, yep, this is a line in the sand and we're doing it this way. Also something to do with like your direction. Maybe perhaps you're somebody who is able to give somebody really clear and concise directions. Now, I'm going to tell you, pile number one, don't take directions from me. Especially if it's like geographical locations, like where am I? I don't know. I'm going to rely on my trusty GPS. And yes, if the internet fails, then I'm in big trouble. But I'm going to say that you are somebody who not only has been able to draw those lines in the sand, but you have been able to draw lines with yourself. Like, okay, the buck stops here, and I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, and I feel like it's something that drew you into a spirit of cooperation. One moment, please. I drop. Oh my gosh, my voice is like a hot mess, you guys. So I don't know what it is. I'm going to say to you that anytime there is a voice problem in my readings, I feel like this has to do with you really expressing your truth. And look, Six of Cups. Well, that's a surprise. That's the one that jumped and committed tarot side on the floor, right? It jumped for you. So Six of Cups is really having that note of nostalgia. And I feel like maybe people fall in love with you because they get nostalgic. They start reminiscing about the good old times. If they know you knew you, then they're like, yeah, I remember when pile number one, we used to go to school together, or we lived in the same street or in the same household, or I would drive around the block and they were there. And I remember when we would have these chats or sleepovers or whatever. But you bring back this like heavy nostalgia. And with the heavy nostalgia, I feel like you've always been like a really pure soul, just somebody who is really willing to give, very like emotional. I don't want to say emotional. That's such a crappy connotation, you guys. But I am going to say that you're somebody who is emotionally self-aware, and you freely gifted your emotions, and they were big emotions. And perhaps I feel like for some people in your past especially, they didn't really know what to do with those. I think that you have so much more depth than they're accustomed to. And I feel like a lot of people, especially from your past, have never met anyone like you. Now, for the current people just meeting you, I feel like it's easy to fall in love with you because you've undergone a lot of transformations. I feel also like you're not somebody who just spouts things from the mouth just to talk. I mean, you're not somebody who has to be constantly having their jaw in motion, talk about nothing. I feel like you really withdraw and you contemplate and you reminisce and you really think things through, and maybe you observe. And you're all about like the growth. But with this card that want to roll behind this signature, I'm going to say that you are all about like communal, a cooperative energy as well. Okay, so it's going to be very important that for you, that people cooperate, that you have something similar to stand on in order to progress forward, whether this is relationships or not. And I'm going to say that people fall in love with you because you do have the tenacity and the grit and I'm hearing diamond in the rough. Okay. You have all these things, these skills to be able to just, pivot, redirect, reassess, change, rerouting, whatever you want to call it, and to do whatever it is that you got to do in order to continue on a upward climbing trajectory. And when I say upward climbing, I'm not talking about the corporate ladder. I'm not talking about monetary necessarily. It could be, but I really feel like you're all about like self-improvement. You feel, I heard witchy, you could be witchy, but you could be deep into like psychology, psychiatry, like color therapy. You could be into any modality of healing. Usually I find you guys in pile 3, so maybe you recently switched to pile 1. I don't know, but I feel like you're rare and quite the individual, and people fall in love with you mostly because your authenticity. Oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce or speak authenticity. And I feel like you don't make any bones about it. You're not like, oh hey, I'm just, you know, the big bad wolf. Where's that coming from? Hold on. What do we have here? Pile 1. Biggest flex is loving yourself the way you wish they did. Be your own damn upgrade. And so, yeah, that's what we were talking about. We, like you and I, right? Just you and I. A moment ago, talking about how you do your own glow up, how you really are constantly striving and fighting to really grow and uphold and really bring about like a spirit of cooperation instead of competition. I feel also that what has ended for you in a large way, or that you will bring things to quick end, is when people are competing with you. So if you sense at all that there's a lover, a friend, or somebody who wants to compete with you, you'll put an end to that, because I feel like you're about the community, about peace, about really being able to be safe in any place that you're around. And so you're not going to allow people that are like constantly battling or fighting or tug of warring. That's just not your mojo. And so I feel like you're going to cut that off real quick, and people find out sometimes the hard way that if they bring drama to your doorstep, you're not here for it at all. Pile number 1. What else do we need to know, please? Why do people fall in love with you? You can have like a dreamy quality about yourself. You have a lot of options. I feel like you really take a moment to contemplate. You're not rash. You don't tend to jump into the fray and go, hey, I'm just going to do this because it presented itself. You really tend to think things through and weigh things out. And perhaps people fall in love with you like that because they've seen that that is a massive growth from where you initially came from, or how you initially dealt with things. Also, the fact that you were able to really love yourself in whatever form that means, whether it's cutting out things that are not healthy, overindulgent, super stimulated, or just competitive energy. Anything that rocks your peace, you're just not doing it, okay? Another card for you. You're my cup of tea, but I drink champagne now. So you've got a little bit more grit to you than you did before. And I feel like there's still a lot of softness, a lot of like, if people can make it beyond like the initial barrier, a little bit Cancerian energy. Pile number 1, I feel like they are quick to just see that, yeah, you may be tough. Yeah, you may have boundaries, but it's not without reason. And it's not for no, yeah, you know, it's not just for grins, for sure. And I think that part of that makes you very direct and very attractive to people. So what else do we have here? Pile number 1, if you'd like this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, it is another chance for you to win for my May giveaway 2024. These are timeless readings. But if you go into my community tab and type in I'm here for it, you have a chance to win a 20-minute reading with yours truly. Deadline is May the 30th. Announcement made May the 31st in the community tab. Why do we love you? Why do people fall in love with you? Pile 1. What? The 8 of Swords. You are super, super smart. I feel like this has to do with some of your intellectual battles, some things that people have seen, maybe perhaps in the past, and tendency to get tightly wound up within your brain, within your mind, and then not being able to really see an outcome. And I feel like even though you have this like tendency, you're constantly working on it. And you're like, yep, I'm kind of caught up in my head about this. And then I feel like you utilize like the Queen of Swords, even though she's not here just yet. I feel like you use your brain powers. You like that? Brain powers? You use your mind to be able to get ahead, to be able to really present like maybe 3 different options, the most viable for you. and really kind of consider, you know, that's part of having options and choices, and really consider what's going to be the best, what is the healthiest, what's going to get me from A to B the quickest, the healthiest, what is going to preserve my peace, all of those things. And I feel like you then make decisions. You're no longer trapped in your mind like once upon a time perhaps you were. And that's really admirable energy. Again, I feel like you motivate people. That's what it is. People look at you sort of like a role model in some ways. Okay. Look, the Three of Wands. Here we go again, echoing that card that I'm not going to move because it'll all come toppling down. But Three of Wands, yeah, this is waiting for the tide to come in, waiting for your ships to come in. This is being really patient, really thinking things through. And your final card, pile number 1, is the Queen of Cups. You are incredibly empathic, intuitive. You could be psychic. You could be a channeler, a medium. You could be somebody who really gets in tune and has the ability to read a room, but just by walking by a room, you don't have to spend a lot of time in it. You're like, yep, those two had a fight. These two aren't getting along. These two were, I heard the word effing. So, I mean, you could pick up on those subtleties as well. So I feel like even though the Queen of Wands isn't here, I feel like you're kind of a firecracker, and you could be embodying the two queens currently, the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands right now. Well, and actually Queen of Swords. I think that you are perceived to have it all. And people, you're like an enigma, and people don't really know. What? People think that all the doors are open in front of me, but it was me who pushed them open. Yes, you forged your own way. You've been able to really push open doors that nobody ever thought you would. And indeed, I feel like you've even opened up doors that you're like, I didn't even know that was a doorknob, let alone a real door. So I feel like Spirit has been generous with you as well, and you would openly say that. But things have not been easy for you. You did not necessarily grow up in your younger years in a scenario that everything was just gifted to you, because you've had to develop grit to really help that softness not be overcome by the world, who could be, you know, I hate to say, but people really like to use other people. It just is. So you could have been a magnet for people that wanted to use, or you could have been a magnet for people that are, you know, depraved, honestly. But I feel like you have come through with flying colors, and this is part of what gives you that mystery, that mystique, that drive that other people just quickly fall for you. And I feel like even people of the same sex, even if you're not like interested in same sex, that people, even if they're not built that way, they're kind of like, I like you. That kind of a vibe, you know. And they would even consider it. I mean, I feel like you're one of those people that you inspire so much that people tend to easily mistake in their feelings of admiration, perhaps, for you as feelings of like sexual desire, something like that. And one thing, pile number 1, about you is that you are somebody in the formative years, I feel. And you were on the trajectory of this, but I feel like, you know how they say, if you were never spoon-fed love, you'll learn to lick it off of knives. I feel like that's who you are. And I feel like I don't want to say you played with danger, but you could have really entertained a lot of things that weren't really healthy initially for you, and you've made great strides to make incredible changes in your life. So kudos to you. Super proud of you. If this resonated with you, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Much, much love to you. And until next time, pile number 1, namaste. Hi, pile number 2. My name is Chriselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. Why do people fall in love with you? We're about to find out. I'm going to take my trusty little mallet, which is a mascara, and I'll be ringing this bell. Pile number 2 in 3, 2, 1. All right. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. I so appreciate your presence here. And those of you that are repeat offenders, thank you so much for stopping in. I want to take a quick moment also to thank the new subscribers. I really appreciate all of you here. Embrace. Find peace with your current state of being. Why do people fall in love with you? Pile number 2. Oh, these cards are all wild. I'm going to take that. Keep your head high and your middle finger higher. What's up? This is giving me Charlie's Angels vibe. Some girls want to be a princess when they grow up. I wanted to be a bad beat girl gang. Okay. The interesting part, pile number 2, is I feel like you are fierce. You are fiercely protective. Also, one thing I want to mention to you is you are fiercely protected from the other side. So even if you identify, such as I do, as the protector, always the one to protect, always the one that stands up for other people and things like that. If you really had to foster a tough exterior, that's part of the reason why people fall in love with you, is that you're quick to embrace people that are lost, or the underdog, or the underprivileged, or those that are lacking, or those that get picked on, right? I feel like when people experience your embrace, platonic or romantic, people fall in love with you because all of a sudden they're a little bit shocked that somebody who is so strong is going to really embrace them or welcome them into their home or into their inner circle of protection, whatever that means to you. And I feel like that's just quite a bit shocking, unexpected, in a good way. Open your eyes and look within. Are you satisfied with the life that you're living? Pile number 2, I feel like also you could be edgy. You could be somebody who dresses edgy, who likes vintage and likes to mix new pieces with vintage pieces. I feel like you could set a trend amongst your friends and even amongst your haters. Dear Superwoman, let no one dribble you from your happiness. Let no one derail you from success. Be smart, courageous, and a determined woman. And I feel like that is perfectly describing you anyways. And whether you're man or woman, it doesn't make a difference. I feel like you are focused, laser focused. I feel like you could be a badass. And you know what I'm hearing, you guys, is from one of the Joker movies, I don't remember, where she's like, maybe I'm a gangster too. So I kind of feel like you're not embracing the thug life. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But I feel like when there's a situation that needs brawn, that needs grit, you may not be the strongest person, but you're going to stand. You're going to take a stand. You're going to think your way through it. And you are going to make your presence known in a powerful way. Sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together. And so I'm going to say, similar with pile 1, you haven't necessarily had it easy, nothing handed over to you. One thing that came to mind when I was reading this, it reminds me of one of my friends back in Phoenix, where she is a massage therapist and she is short and she is just adorable. And but she told me that she, she's got that personality, very powerful woman. If you're watching, you know who you are. I love you. But she just marched right up to this really big guy who was trying to raise some hell at a bar. She pulled up a chair and stepped right up to his nose and put her finger right to his nose and kind of told him off. And I feel like that would be you. It doesn't matter if it looks like it's David versus Goliath. It doesn't matter if this is like the CEO versus a new hire. You're going to do whatever it takes, and you will do it with passion. Passion. While I was talking, I happened to flip this. Didn't do it on camera, but no is a complete sentence. And something about your eyes, she's even turned away. I feel like you could get lost in not really giving people strong eye contact. And there's a reason for that. I feel like eye contact for you would be it would feel super intimate. And I feel also that people kind of want to give you like strong eye contact, but you're somebody who you're just gonna be like, I'm busy, I got things to do, and that kind of a thing. So you kind of keep your tough exterior. You don't slow down for anybody. I'm feeling like a lot of energy. You could be someone. I feel like the love that people have for you, people because you are fearless, okay? Because of your fashion sense, because I heard trauma bond. So maybe perhaps you've been known to trauma bond. Look at that, the Lovers. This person is kissing her third eye. So it could be even that you have a special vision that other people, once you allow them to get close, know about it, and that you feel precious and highly upheld by these people that you allow close to you. Yeah, Ace of Cups. You bring about a lot of emotions. People fall in love with you. Why? Because they fall in love with you. They can't help it. I feel like because of your air of mystery, because of your toughness, because of the unexpected ways that you operate, it's kind of a shock. You could be someone who's like a phoenix that they've seen rise up again and again. And invincible. Pretty much invincible. Pile number 2. Why do people fall in love with pile number 2? The depth of your emotion also is incredibly beautiful. I feel like you could also be well-spoken, but I don't feel like a lot of words coming out of your mouth. I feel like you're just sharp and concise, and you are quick to tell people off if that's what needs to happen. The Four of Pentacles. People fall in love with you quickly because you have the ability to also withdraw and get quiet within yourself. And look at all of this. I feel like his chakra is popping right here. I feel like you could be somebody who's interested in downloads from the sun, right? Some sun codes, light codes. You could be a little bit of a sun worshiper. You could love the sun, but withdrawing your energy, and maybe even perhaps being stingy with your love. And no offense there, man. I'm just going to say that you have to really be careful because you can't possibly love everybody. Oh my goodness. Look, darling. People fall in love with you because you're not afraid to walk away. You're not afraid to walk away to seek your happiness, to pursue that which makes you you. You could be very fluid. You could be gender fluid. You could once again have your third eye just woke completely. A lot of transformations. People have seen the hard work that you've given loved ones as well. This to me almost looks like 3D, and it almost looks like an underwater tea party of sorts, right? So this to me tells me that, including the depth of your emotion, people have been able to see you go through many times where it was very, very difficult to leave situations where you're like, you know what, I'm tapped out. It's not bringing me any joy and there's no effort. I'm the one pouring in each and every little tiny cup. I measure them. I dress up. I look good. I pull my hair back. I'm gentle and I do all the things. And yet it's brought me nothing. And therefore I had to leave that situation. And people really admire that because that takes a lot of gumption. That takes a lot of strength to be able to admit that something isn't working out and to be able to just really continue moving on in search of what? In search of the sun, in search of that which you desire, that gives you peace, that brings you back into fluidity, into a state where you are at peace with yourself, at peace, growing, and feeling the warmth of the sun, emotional gratification, and movement. The rays of the sun never just stop, right? And it just creates a lot of growth around. And I feel like that is you. That is part of your warm embrace. I'm starting to look at the embrace card and I'm like, well, that's starting to look a little bit sexual right now. That's not what I was trying to read for. Maybe I'll open up like a smut channel where I can attempt to safely read, because those are kind of fun too. Anyways, squirrel. Pile number 2. Why do we fall in love with you? You could have nice chesticles. I'm just going to say you could have a really nice rack where people, men, women, doesn't make a difference, are like, wow, your cleavage is auspicious. I don't think anybody would ever say that, but you get my point. Look, the Hermit. The salty Hermit. What? Pile number 2, I feel like you cause people to really go deep within themselves, to really retreat, withdraw, pull back their energy, and really examine what it is that they want out of life. This hermit stick. That's not even what that's called. A staff, right? I feel like it's got this critter right here, and it looks a little bit like a devil to me from this angle, even though I think it's meant to be a fairy. So I feel like people can get a little bit salty with you because maybe perhaps you don't reciprocate. Maybe perhaps you draw some lines in the sand. Maybe perhaps you express things to them like, I need more. I'm looking for my 9th cup. And I'm only at 8 and I don't really see much coming from you. And that could really put people in their feelings to know that maybe perhaps you're moving on or you're not looking at them the same way or whatever. But people fall in love with you because you have the ability to go within and to remember what it is back from the past that you really desire to get back on track. So you know how your GPS goes rerouting. Makes me kind of crazy. But if you miss your exit or if you're turning down the wayward lanes, who knows? But you have that ability to reroute. And I feel like people kind of withdraw. They get hurt. They're like, what the heck? I thought like this was a thing, you know? But you're like, yeah, it's a thing when you put an effort. When you bring about that 1 cup and you're asking for, 1 cup makes 9 out of this. What was that flip? I heard it. But you're not willing to put more. It's like you're not throwing money, good money after bad money, that kind of an idea. So you're willing to cut people off and people get shook. And I feel like you're like a catalyst to growth for them as well. And that's part of why they love you. It's like, I never would have thought that I would undergo this like massive journey if my life didn't brush up against yours somehow. Initially, we're not grateful, but in the long run, it is extremely beneficial. Ace of Pentacles right here and the King of Wands. Yeah, I feel like you arouse. Okay, once again, so far it's been quite the cracking and popping over here with the sexual innuendos, but I feel like people want to throw in their lot with you because they feel a certain type of way. And with some of this, I feel like people cannot want to be vulnerable because they're a little bit afraid. Because why? Well, Charlie's Angels. I mean, if you're a little bit of a badass or if you appear, you're like, oh, they're not going to give an F. They don't want to be vulnerable. That's part of it. Okay. Why do people fall? Yep. In love with you. It's a 5 of diamonds. And it's funny because I almost said the 5 of diamonds earlier. I'm not surprised it popped up. So I feel like you have the ability to really leave people in the dark or make people feel like they don't really know what you're feeling or how you feel about them. I feel like you're filled with quite a bit of mystery, even though you could be like super blunt and direct, such as similar to myself anyways. I try. Yeah, but people fall in love with you because it's that air of, wow, they, I don't know what they're doing and I'm not privy in their life anymore and I just don't know what's going on. And well, how come I'm all kind of mixed up and messed up in my emotions and I don't know how this person feels. Yeah, you have pretty high walls and high standards. You're not putting up with no mess from nobody, okay? And actually, it's very attractive. People want to communicate with you. I'm hearing let's get it on. People from your past want to come towards you, but you are leaving anything. Similar to pile number 1, you could have a message there if you were kind of wondering in between which one to go for. But you could be somebody who just decides, you know what, if this brings me drama, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And you don't. Pile number 2. Don't forget to enter the May giveaway in the community tab. Just type in I'm here for it for a chance to win that 30-minute reading. Fear, expecting the worst, afraid of failure, wasting time on negative thoughts. People can fall in love with you because you're not afraid. And I feel like it plunges them into paralysis, which is weird. Yeah, it forces them to expand their horizons. Somebody who's never rock climbed before, and you're like, yep, I'm climbing this rock. Never done it. We're doing it. I don't know how to do it. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to get all the gear, and here we are. Let's do this. Pursue bigger and greater endeavors. And so you're one to just jump right in. You're like all in, and they're taking time out going, well, what if it doesn't work? And what if, all these things that they're entertaining. And for you, nothing is impossible. It might take a little bit, but you're going to figure it out. And and release. Release grudges, wounds, pent up feelings through healthy activities. Oh yeah, so you could like exercise, right? You'd like to get physical. Let's get physical. A little bit of Olivia Newton-John. I don't care about anyone not liking me. You bitches barely like yourselves. Ain't that the truth? So I feel like that's just you, just from the way you dress to the how you act to what you dedicate yourself to. And that is so alluring. There's no one with more sex appeal than somebody who's just about not caring what other people think and focused on a goal. And I feel like you, pile number 2, are that person. And that's why we fall in love with you. If you like that reading, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Pile number 2, until next time, much, much love to you. Namaste. Hi, pile number 3. My name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. Before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and ring your bell. I'm just kidding. I'm going to ring this bell. I'm going to ring it in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, pile number 3, you chose deception. False illusions, scarcity mentality, falling into bad habits. Why do people fall in love with you? 9 of Pentacles, you're incredibly independent. I'm looking at all the pentacles. Oh, and the Tower. Yep. I feel like you could be bringing some powerful awakenings. I feel like, okay. By the way, with the deception here, I don't feel like you are somebody who is deceptive. But I do feel like you attract people that should probably not be attracted to you. Whether it would be, let's say if you're like in business together or they're your client, there could be some sort of inappropriateness, whether they're married or if it's the same sex and they know you're not about that, or if you are, something about it screams forbidden to me, okay? The 9 of Pentacles here. I can't help but look at all those coins on her bag. Why do people fall in love with you? You could have a way about you, of poise about you that really attracts people. It seems like everything that you wear could be high dollar. Even if you're someone like myself, I love to go to thrift stores. And I feel like people can just develop this fantasy about it. It's like, wow, that must be really couture. And it's like, well, maybe, don't know, bought it for $4 or whatever. But I'm going to say with this Page of Cups, you draw a lot of people who want to just, who fantasize about you, I'm going to say, who could be younger than you. You have strong sex appeal. Duh. I mean, look, and part of your sex appeal is that you have like really conquered a lot within yourself. And part of that conquering of yourself could have been parts of yourself that you weren't really necessarily proud of, such as deception and false illusions and having scarcity mentality. Now I'm going to rewind this. This is always my pile that I really resonate with usually the most. I'm going to say that you could be someone who really struggled a lot, battled with their dark side and with illusions, with, you know, you could have struggled with mental health, with, I just got kicked off again, especially if you're somebody who is watching the news and stuff like that. You could have really battled that scarcity mentality, and that's really attractive. Yeah. 2 of Pentacles, you could be someone who has been known to juggle things, such as, okay, I'm achieving balance here, I'm trying for balance, and I'm trying to balance my scarcity with my knowing that the world and the universe has an abundance, right? Abundance of all the things. But if you focus on lack and lack mentality, you know that that's what is going to come about. You're going to bring more of that about. Yeah, 4 of Cups. So I feel like people fall in love with you because you're relatable, because look, 9 of Swords, because you have some demons that you have to wrestle with. You know, I haven't met a perfect person like ever, and I certainly am not a perfect person, but I'm going to say pile number 3 that you've wrestled with a lot of demons, and you could be somebody who has had to really pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You've had to, I feel like you've just not had a lot of people there to help you. You've had to stiffen your own spine, fuse your own back together to be able to, make it. The Nine of Swords is one of anxiety, of overthinking, and usually this anxiety and overthinking has to do with illusions, and perhaps, your brain has gotten the best of you and you've had to reel it in. So the Tower is here. Let's see. Show me what I need to see. Why do people fall in love with you? You could be really statuesque. You could seem taller than what you are by sheer attire, by like what you're wearing. You could know how to pose properly, right? For photographs to where you just seem elongated. There are camera tricks that you can do that just make people appear so much nicer sometimes. People fall in love with you because regardless of what transpires, you are an overcomer. You have the ability, to overcome. I feel like you are also somebody who also had a really rough past, but also one of like scarcity, of like not even counting your pennies, but requiring and needing like donation from other people in order to survive. You could have been somebody who was in the dark or somehow, some way like powerless. I feel like also like a powerlessness. So it could have been that you were a child, or maybe perhaps you had children to watch at home and there's no way that you can go out and work, and you relied on, your state or whatever, or family, to be able to help you during those times. Something about you is incredibly, like, I feel like shocking because it's very relatable. You could have also been somebody who maybe dabbled in drugs or drinking or oversexed. I mean, I don't know your life and I'm not here to judge it. I'm just, some chick on the internet. But I'm going to say, that nothing that you've done is probably shocking to me. I've probably done it too. I don't feel judgmental about things, just an FYI. But I feel like people could have seen your battles, and your battles could have been public. Maybe perhaps you're someone that you lost everything due to some kind of a drug abuse, or perhaps your kids got taken away by CPS because of some issues that you were trying to work through or not trying to work through. Regardless, I feel like people fall in love with you because you were an overcomer. You've suffered a lot, and a lot of that has been done publicly, I'm going to say. And even with the Death card right here, people have seen you change, like monumental changes. I'm not saying a little change. I feel like in the same way that this Deception card is right here, you could appear like one day, I don't know, you're like living among the Amish. Let's just say this is a radical theory, right? Or idea. And you're kind of like building furniture or living that life, whatever it is that you're doing. And 3 years later, you're, I don't know, in New York City, it's some kind of penthouse that you're living in, doing, I don't know, doing something like a master chef or something. I mean, something incredibly radical has transpired. You've had at least 2, maybe even 3 major changes that when people look at you, they're like, I don't even know who this person is. Now, you could also be somebody who really enjoys cosplay or like dressing up or likes to wear different clothing. Like, I feel like when people look at you, I don't want to say you're adopting a persona, but kind of a little bit. Perhaps, but this makes you very intriguing because you're very versatile, okay? You could be somebody who likes to cloak what you think. You don't like to give away what you think. But also, I feel like one of the most charming things about you, and unexpectedly so, is that people fall in love with you because you like things balanced, that you want justice, that you want things to be equitable, even, balanced, that you want them to be able to be easy to read, let's say, okay? And that could be a little bit of a shock at how balanced you are as well. People fall in love with you because you have a little bit of an air of mystery, a big air of mystery. You're unpredictable, but also I feel like you have something deep within your soul, deep within your heart, that appears very sorrowful. That was hard to say. In other words, like, you could look I don't know, you can get in your feelings and get in your head. And your mood can go down, and people just want to come over and like give you a hug or rescue you or be intrigued by it or want to know like what's going on. I feel like also younger people could be attracted in a very sexual way with you. They could have a Taurus. You could have people that are like looking at you and it's like, that's hot mom, hot dad vibes, whatever. Or you could simply be like 23 and somebody's like a lot younger and you're like, not a chance in the world. Ain't going to jail for no jailbait. I don't know. But the Four of Pentacles, yeah, you hold your thoughts to yourself. I don't feel like you communicate a lot of your struggles and things like that. You're the Hierophant, so you could be like Virgo. Or you could be simply like Cancerian. You go withdraw within. You had a hard exterior, but with a it's a Hierophant. Yeah, I feel like you're connecting a lot with spirit, but the illusion of yourself, like, because maybe perhaps you don't speak a lot on it, people don't understand it, and they get really confused. But he has a cat here. I think it's a cat. Yeah, but I feel like that's going to bring you a lot of abundance. You can even make money. Maybe you're like a reader such as myself and you kind of moonlight, or that's your main gig. I don't know. But whatever your deal is, I feel like you can monetize your spirituality. And I don't mean it in a negative way. Everybody's got to pay to eat. It's just how life runs. So I will say, for those that are like judgy about people that make money doing readings, I mean, be realistic. Come on now. Moving on. Ace of Cups. So yeah, the depth of you is what I'm hearing right now. And people really fall in love with you because you are very deep. Like, you're deeply expressive, deeply emotional, in a good way, and in all the right ways, I'm going to say. I feel like you're not afraid to drink from that well, okay? You're not afraid to get deep. When you speak, people listen. I feel like you are clear and concise and shockingly accurate. I feel like you could be like a myth buster. Like, people look at you and go, oh, I don't know about her. She looks like, she smells like drama. I don't know. I don't know what people are thinking. I do know for a fact that you have a lot of eyes looking at you. I'm even looking into the forest, my other favorite form of divination, and I'm seeing an eyeball, hidden behind a tree. And I'm like, really? So you could have people that are just looking at you just to look, and they will never make their presence known because they just want to be an observer, and an absorber. In some ways that has like vampiric overtones to it. But I'm just going to say that the fact that you're incredibly intelligent, the fact that you kind of crush through a lot of traditional thinking, or thinking that is just like outdated, you break a lot of molds, you break a lot of templates that other people set up within their own lives in order to see that they too could be versatile. Okay, versatile does not mean deceptive. People can call it what they will, but that's all on them. Pile number 3, what I have for thee. Why do people fall in love with you? Very, very similar to pile number 2. So you could be really sunny. You could be a sun sign or sun moon rising, doesn't make a difference. But I'm going to say that you have an incredibly gravitational pull because of your air of mystery, maybe even perhaps your air of danger. But I'm going to say that you have so much truth to you that you have the ability to have tower moments in other people's lives unexpectedly. Pile number 3, one day I'm gonna make the onions cry. So yeah, you could have that vibe about you that you, I heard we're more than conquerors. People might want to come into your life to want to conquer you, and you're like, no sir, no ma'am. I know people talk ish behind my back. I'm not stupid. I just don't care. Pile number 3, I love that for you. I resemble that remark. Especially if you're intuitive, that you know who, and you probably know 90% of what they're saying, but who cares? As long as, if they're not paying your bills, and it really doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. So I like that attitude for you. All of a sudden I got like really stuffy. My nose be stuffy. I don't know what that's all about. Pile number 3, what do we have for thee? Why do we fall in love with you? So maybe, you know, after you get done crying and you're like stuffed up, I kind of feel stuffy like that all of a sudden. So maybe perhaps people fall in love with you because you cut through the quick, and yet you're like a magnet. They can't get over it. They can't figure it out. Yet you've caught tower moments in their lives, or you threaten to cause tower moments in people's lives. And I feel like you can bring people to tears with the truth. I feel like people like to pretend and dance around things. And yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like... I feel like a lot of people just fall for you. Again, that should not. They have some things going on that doesn't make it permissible or doesn't make it practical for whatever reason. Hot Coco. Coco agrees. He's like, nope. Maybe, oh, some people fall in love with you also for your feet, because my dog is like licking my foot. And I feel like some people can really, look at your feet or fall in love with your feet or have a thing, or even those that don't have a foot fetish are like, wow, you have really beautiful feet. There's something there for you. So we have the 8 of Spades right here. Yeah, they fall in love with you and they get all caught up in their brain. And they're like, well, does pile number 3 care about me, or are they interested in me, or do they like me, do they think about me? They get all caught up in their head, and in a weird twisted kind of a way, it makes them, those like repeated thoughts make them fall in love with you more and more. So we have the 7 of Swords right here. The fact that you're a lone wolf, the fact that you're not going to cry uncle, just give in to whatever's presented, because you have your own agenda, your own ideas. You're an incredible individual. The Queen of Pentacles right here. So I feel like you could be somebody who in the end is really kind of salt of the earth. I feel like animals and children love you. You could really draw all different kinds of demographics to you. And yet, once people think that they know you, they're going to think again. And right now, again, I'm looking at the forest and I actually see this imprint of, it's like a lion's face. So you can have maybe some Leo in your chart. Well, the sun was there too. Interesting. But yeah, a lot of passion, a lot of desire for you. I think a lot of it initially is physical. People want to give to you. They could be like, oh, I'll do you that favor. Or, oh, hey, I'll get this for you. Or I'll pay for lunch this time. Not a big deal. But they can get into a quandary. It's like 2 of Swords. They can't do much more than that, and they know it. So we have the 3 of Pentacles, cooperation, collaboration. But this could also be like a third-party situation. You could draw those people in, even not meaning to, right? I'm all congested. What is going on? So the 8 of Pentacles right here. Yeah, people want to put in the work with you. People want to put in the work. I feel like you can cut people off, and that can be very hurtful, and it makes them even more obsessed. I feel like you draw the obsessive people towards you as well. People get obsessed. Why? Because you withdraw, you hold your emotions tightly, and you pursue what it is that is good for you. With this 10 of Pentacles right here being present, I feel like, yeah, you're like about that money, but also that loyalty, that what can I do for myself? And you're all about family, about taking care of people, about loyalty. And it seems, pardon me, counterproductive, but counterintuitive for people that are still playing games to be drawn to you. But that's just, it is what it is. Moths love the light. They want to get super close to the point where they get burned. And I feel like you, pile number 3, are definitely a moth in the a flame. You're a flame. And you have moths around you that just, I feel like they do get burned by you, by the way. And it's maybe because you're just kind of direct and sharp. Yeah. The way you speak could be really direct and sharp. And people can get in their feelings and emotions because of that. Look, the Moon and the Page of Pentacles. People want to spy on you. People want to know what you're doing at all hours of the day, at all the time. They want to know what's going on. Look at this moon. This is like one of the most intense moons I've ever seen. with people, they want to turn on the lights, like vivid lights, into your mind space, your heart space. They fall in love with you because they don't know how you're feeling. You could be very ambiguous or non-committal or non-verbal about things, or very casual about things, and people are a little bit shook, like, what? My charms didn't work? What? My flattery didn't work? Or, hey, I took you to lunch and how come you're not looking at me twice? Or I don't know, all the tricks, but whatever it is that they're trying to use to manipulate with, or try to gain your attention, it's not working. Like, the old tricks don't work for you, pile number 3. And they fall in love with you because I feel like you just know to the core that that's what they're doing. And it's a little bit shocking for them. Yeah. People are trying to manifest you even now. People that should not be thinking about you. People that are standing on like really some crazy terrain. People that could have other people here, even though these are not beings necessarily, it's a little critter here. They could have like 2 people underneath them. Take that however you will. But I'm going to say, pile number 3, that people are willing to just escape. They want to enter like a portal into your life. They want to teleport to you. They want to abandon their current life and responsibilities or their commitments and things like that. And that's not how life works. And I feel like, furthermore, that's not how you operate. But that's why you are the lamp, and these moths cannot stay away. You could also have such a high vibration that butterflies want to come towards you, or even bees. Personally, the meat bees love me. I'm not flattered. I am not flattered. I think it's a fair amount. I don't know what's going on there, but they love me. Pile number 3, the 3 of Wands. You exude patience. Like, you're not chasing after nobody at all. You have an incredible connection with spirit. Again, I feel like maybe all 3 piles are really lavish, but I feel like you're practical but beautiful, maybe custom, maybe tailored. You like to wear well-fitting garbs, just whatever your body type, it doesn't matter. It's got to fit you, and the style is impeccable, right? And I feel like you make people wait. The fact that you make people wait, she's like, no, wait. You're going to wait for me. Yep. And they all fall down. And look, the only thing that's left is a tower. You're like, well, the tower's got to come and fall for you before anything can progress. So very intriguing. You guys are my intriguing empaths. Interesting. Yeah, you could be into like witchery, or be considered a witch, or thought of as a witch, or even sorcery. I don't know. But that is what I have for you. Don't forget to go into my community tab to enter for the 2024 May giveaway. So go to community tab, type in "I'm here for it" to win a chance at a 30-minute reading with you. The deadline is going to be May 30th. Announcement made May 31st. Uh-oh, what is that? The King of Pentacles. You know what? Some people are willing to risk it all. They're willing to risk it all. You are that tantalizing. I feel like you're like fantasy girl, fantasy guy, okay? Like, when people get freaky, they could just think about you. I feel like this person is willing to lose it all. And the King of Pentacles is absolutely no fool. Not a fool whatsoever. Right? This one is methodical, practical. They have their ish together. They could have a couple of different businesses. They have their assets. They take a look at things. They make sure their money is making money, that kind of a thing. But coming upside down, it's like, you know what? I'm willing to risk it all for thee. Pile number 3. And that's what I have for you. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.